Continuing on with the 2005 Ford 500. We left off with Chick Hicks causing a massive accident that eliminated 10 cars on lap 284. But let's continue. Lucas 95 would take the lead from Lightning McQueen at the beginning of lap 300, lead to lap 326, losing it to the King, Strip Weathers, who would lead to lap 343, before he'd lose the lead to Mark Carton. He would lead to lap 345 before Chick Hicks would take the lead from him. He'd lead to lap 372. On that lap, Lucas 95 would bump him into the wall, which allows his teammate Lightning McQueen to take the lead from him. He'd lead to lap 379. During that time, the Rubberhand Motorsports teammates of Casey Corner and Jeremy Carfield would go down a lap because they were a bit slow. Tony Gasworth would take the lead from Lightning McQueen on lap 380, lead for roughly one lap, before losing the lead to the other number 20 car, Lucas 95, who would lead to lap 402, before losing it to me on that lap. I'd lead to lap 404, where Dale Carr would take the lead from me. Lead to lap 409, for just at the end of that lap, I'd take back the lead, and lead for 10 laps before, during that time, Kyle Traxxon would wreck Ruby Nightcar on lap 417. However, what's worse is what Kyle Traxxon would say to Ruby Nightcar. Ruby Nightcar cries, and Kyle Traxxon would be suspended for 10 races because of what he said. I also say this to Kyle Traxxon after wrecking Ruby Nightcar. However, Kevin Shiftright would take the lead from me at the beginning of lap 420. He would lead until lap 428 for almost 10 laps, but then Lucas 95 would take back the lead. He would lead to lap 443, and he says this about Kyle Traxxon. But the other number 20 racer, Tony Gasworth, would take back the lead. Lead to lap 451 before he'd lose the lead to Greg Candyman, who would lead a few yards before losing it to Dale Earnhardt Jr. on lap, and would lead to lap 462 before losing it to Lightning McQueen on the lap. He lead to lap 468, but one lap before, Greg Candyman would be wrecked out by Chick Hicks, and Sonic EXE would try to do the same to Chick one lap later, but failed. On lap 468, Strip Weathers would take the lead, and lead to lap 474, for losing it to the other Sonic, Sonic 1T, who would keep the lead to lap 487, but one lap before, Chick Hicks would wreck Casey Corner. And then I'd say this to Chick Hicks after wrecking Casey Corner. But after saying it, Chick Hicks would bump me into the wall. But luckily, Sonic EXE would shove Chick Hicks on lap 486. Then I would take the lead from the other Sonic and lead to lap 493. However, I lost the lead for 15 seconds on lap 490 to Dale Earnhardt Jr. Tony Gasworth would take the lead for me on lap 493 and lead for one lap. But somewhere on lap 493, Kurt Busch had a 10-second lead. Jeff Gorvette would take the lead from Tony Gasworth on lap 495. On that lap, though, Chick Hicks would wreck Kurt Busch and Kurt Busch was most certainly not happy about being wrecked by Chick Hicks. And Slider Petrolski would go down a lap on lap 497. But I would take the lead from Jeff Gorvette on lap 498 and hold off the others long enough to win the 2005 Florida 500. And here's what I say after my win. Now here's the top 10. Strip Weathers will finish second in his final Florida 500, right ahead of rookie Lightning McQueen, who rounds out the top 3. Right ahead of Bill Racelaw, of all racers, somehow finished 4th, right ahead of another rookie, Lucas 95, who rounds out the top 5. And right behind are the two Sonics, finishing 6th and 7th, respectively. Right ahead of the former leader, Jeff Gorvette, who who finished ahead of Chick Hicks, who unfortunately would get a top 10 finish this race. Right ahead of the car that would round out the top 10 being Dale Earnhardt Jr., who finished exactly 10th this race. Matt Kenseth, who would be the last racer to finish on the lead lap, finishing 26th, and he did nothing all race. What a disappointment for his first race with his brand new look for the season. Now, here are the full race results. I already went over the top 10, but here are all the racers that finished in the top 15, with Elliott Draftler barely missing out on the top 10. His teammate Dale Earnhardt was the last car to finish in the top 15. Right behind Tony Gatsworth, who had more than Bill Raclott this race, yet finished 10 positions behind him. And Carl Edwards would finish 12th in his first Ford 500 ahead of Joe Brightcheck. Here are the rest. Here's more racers. Murray Clickburn would miss out on top 15, but he finished ahead of Rusty Wheelhouse, finished 17th in his final Ford 500 ahead of Billy Earl Jr. He finished ahead of Travis Strathfield and Ryan Newcar, the teammates from Pancake Shipwright Racing. Both did nothing, but they were the cars that rounded out the top 20. Mark Carden led for some laps, but didn't really do much this race, but he still came 21st. Right ahead of two other cars that didn't really do anything this race, Sterling Carlin, whose teammates wrecked out unfortunately, and Dave Laney. Slow start to his first race at Richard Chilpain's Racing. Out there, but yeah. Here's the top 30. Kevin Shiftright finished 24th ahead of Brian Vickers, who finished in the same position as number 25, rounding out the top 25. Right ahead of Matt Kenseth, who, as mentioned, was the last car to finish on the lead lap. He finished ahead of Jeremy Carfield and Slida Petrolsky, the last two cars to finish the race entirely, but they couldn't get onto the lead lap. And any racer you see from here wrecked out. And here's the bottom three. Kyle Traxon was disqualified this race because of what he did, which gave Bobby Carboni a finish on 49th, right behind Ricky Slood. Now, that concludes the 2005 Florida 500. Next race, I believe, will be the Las Vegas 400. Well, see you then.